think it's episode 9. Welcome to In the Green Room, episode 9.
Brothers Hainsworth. This has been a major coup because the reclusive Cameron Hainsworth, he's a rare sighting. He's as rare as a yowie around Merriweather. But he's agreed to come on. Thanks very much, Camo. We've spent a lot of time together in the past.
We have, Ross.
Hopefully in the future, and as well with Cussy as well, Marcus Hainsworth, who we played a bit of cricket together, and footy, and yeah. So I'm the conduit between the two brothers.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you guys leading into Old Boys Day, and none other than one of the better old boys, both of you.
Yeah.
Obviously grew up 100 metres away from the ground. I dare say you bleed green. There's occasions when you're jealous and you see green. But it's all good. Good to have you boys.
No, thanks. Thanks for having us and getting us on the show. Tuned into a few. I was telling Punga that I'll keep up to date with a few of these.
I knew you were a big fan.
Yeah, Matt, big fan of the show.
Big fan.
Yeah.
I like your tweets.
We're going to start it off the way we start all of them off. We'll start with you. How did you become a green? Do you remember your first game?
Jeez, the Steel Seas are going well today.
How did I start? Well, I obviously grew up at the beach, spent a lot of time there, and had people I looked up to that wore green jumpers. I didn't start my rugby career with Merriweather. Dad got me into rugby. I played soccer till probably under 10s. He got me into rugby and played with Wanderers.
Yeah, there's a few people for your generation that had to go
so
through that.
Carlton didn't have any team, so I played with some pretty good footballers. Stu Pinkett and Graham Thompson for 2 were in our team. We won some competitions.
Is that the same team as Monkey?
No, he was a year below. Yeah, they were the year below. So my first game, I don't actually remember my first game, but it was under 18s. That was in 1991. So captained the under 18s in 91, and then my first grade game was the following year. I wasn't going to play. I was a bit, how you going?
Yeah.
Because it was 18s into men's, and they were a bit scary. But so waited till about the 4th round. I actually went down to number 2. They used to have a match of the round. It was actually against Waratah. They used to play the match of the round at number 2 sports ground. Went down there, stood by for 4ths, didn't get a run, started kicking stones. And then Reevesy, Natto, I think Ryan got hold of me and they said, stand by. This number 8 that plays 3rd grade goes down a bit or whatever. And sure enough, he went down just before half time and they threw me in there. Because I was really thinking about playing in the backs, but I played loose forward for the 18s and then played that game. And then come to training next week, and Bagsy come in and he said, "So you're still playing in the backs?" And I said, "Oh." He goes, "Well, are you?" I said, "Nah, play me loose." And then so my first run-on game was at Danger Park, Danger Park we used to call it. So I think if half of their 4th grade come out of the Beaufort, well lubricated. So ran out and shook the hand of Gary Constantine and went, "Oh shit!" So that was my first game. So that was 92.
Yeah, there has been another occasion when you played in the backs. Do you want to run us through that?
I actually played. Played a couple of positions in the back, so I probably don't really want to run you through it. But now that you brought it up, which it's not something I've got over since 1996. But anyway, now that you brought it up,
I told you we'd ask the hard questions.
Well,
it's a good story and it's folklore.
It's a good story for everybody bar me, but childhood dream of playing in a 1st grade grand final for Merriweather Carlton. I started at number 7, then transferred to number 12, went to 13, then went to on the wing and had Brad Schultz run around me 3 times and scored 3 tries. And then, an old teammate that went to the Bay, Junior Gamble, said some really encouraging words after the game and basically come up pissing himself laughing, going, "You should have heard what they said about you on the radio." I said, "Yeah, thanks a lot. We've just been beaten 40-odd to 17. So,
but in saying that, it shows what a club man you are because you did make the sacrifice and put your hand up and you played in the backs.
I wouldn't say that's because of the club, man. I don't think I really had a choice.
But no, it is a grand final and you do what you got to do.
Oh, exactly.
And you did what you had to do.
Yeah.
Why'd you go to the backs? What was the reason? Had to move down to that.
He's a big fan of the show too.
One of the backs got pointed to have an early shower.
Right.
Yeah. So it was 0-0 to that stage, and then the game sort of changed.
Yeah, we've all been there. I mean,
Wasn't that early in the game? Was it early in the game?
I honestly can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember. We the team actually got together.
Yeah, it was the other couple of weeks ago.
And it was a really special group. That group, everyone clicked. We did some pretty outrageous. Well, the backs especially, they did some pretty outrageous things. They were freaks.
And I've said this before. I think that I was on the bus for Singleton. I'd never played for Singleton, but when I went down on the supporters bus, and your team was a bunch of freaks, and it is unfortunate what happened in that grand final.
Well, it was 0-0. We gave ourselves a chance. Obviously, I mean they had a really, really good team. I mean, they had Steve Merrick. They had a gun forward pack.
Their forward pack were freaks.
Yeah, it was awesome. They had an awesome rolling ball. It's 0-0. We had a 21-all draw. I'd never beaten Singleton in first grade. Thought that's as close as what I got. 21-all draw. So
I think a team that I played in was the first team to beat Singleton in first grade, which was that's 10, 15 years after that.
Yeah, I was quite jealous of the people who well, it's something I never achieved.
I think Merv, obviously, we'll get to you in a sec, Gus, but a lot of people might not know this, that you were the one that brought probably one of the greatest club captains to the club in Paul Hughes, Merv. Talk us a bit through that, cousins.
I love Merv. He's a legend. We're very similar human beings. We are quite competitive. We probably have extreme white line fever. We love a good time.
Can't kick.
Yeah, can't kick. Yeah, no, not at all. Can't kick. But I think it was over at Christmas or whatever, and myself, Merv, and he was a good mate of his, Brent Aglin.
Yep.
We're playing cricket, and I just said, "You got to come to Greens." And Merv ended. He won the comp with South, I think, in '96.
Yep.
I went and watched that at number 1, and then I'm not sure if '97 was the next year he come down, but he come down, and I had some really special moments with Merv. I was filthy at him one time though at training, because I obviously had the first grade number 7, and he had the second grade number 7, and he decided to nearly snap my medial ligament at training one night, and I think I furiously said, "That's the only way you'll get my fucking spot." But it was in jest or whatever. But no, I love him to death, mate. He's a legend. He's a club legend, and couldn't be prouder of him.
Yeah, no, awesome. And Kusa, your journey, I guess, was a little bit different to your brothers.
Yeah.
With an older brother coming into the club, tell us about how you came to the club and into grade as well.
So I originally started playing soccer,
Yep.
played with the Rosebuds. Broke my leg training one day, which sort of ruled me out. It's probably another story in itself. Ruled me out for the soccer season, and
Sorry, I'll just butt in. Broke his leg, but Dad, being the not hard man, but lovely man he is, just said, "You'll be right, get on the lounge, have a Panadol." But at 9:30 that night, Mum sort of thought...
And he refused to take me till the X-Files had finished. I had to see the end of the episode of the X-Files before he finally took me up there. But funnily enough, a guy that we sort of grew up, Big Whittaker, his dad was the coach for that side, so it was... Although different sports, we ended up playing a bit of rugby throughout my career. But so then after the broken leg, I'll never forget. I ran into Cameron. I think you were living just on Merriweather Street, and I was around there and let him know that I was going to play the following year of rugby. It wasn't really Mum's cup of tea. I think she barely watched a game of Cameron, so she was more happy to watch me play soccer than rugby. And then I played all my juniors through Carlton right up until 18s, but I was on the lighter side growing up, which made me eligible. They used to have a weigh down system,
which they still have.
Do they?
Yeah,
I wasn't quite sure. So I was sort of playing two games sort of Saturday. So I managed to click over 100 junior games with the Greens, and then that was right up until 18s, and then from 18s. The first year out was then in the Colts, which was then under 20. So we played the year, in the 19s, which was under the 20s, and then we went to the under 20s. So we literally lost on the bell the grand final the first year at Colts, and we beat the Wanderers, funnily enough, the second year. And then from those first years at Colts, it was Premier 1, 2, and then Colts. So when we did the road trips to Maitland and Singleton, the reserves in the grade were always your Colts players.
Right,
So you'd have, pretty much the whole team stand by in the grade, and then if someone went down, so that was sort of an easier introduction in the grade, I think. Like from, you'd play your Colts game, and if you were still, fit to stand by, if you, weren't too hungover still from the Friday night. But that's come, and then we just rolled into grade. So then we just stepped up into second grade, and then obviously you're with those Colts boys in the 2s, in the 1s, and then.
So were you in 2000 Colts or 2002?
Yeah, I think it was 2000, maybe a little bit later.
I think it would have been later.
Yeah, it would have been about 2006 because
because they didn't start till about 2000.
Yeah, I think it was.
Unfortunately, I don't know, bad memories. Another one of the 8 grand finals I lost with Carlton was 2000 at St John. It was either 2005 or 6, 2006.
Yeah.
That's when we won thirds when I was coaching thirds.
Yeah.
So I think I did a season. So I stopped playing. The year that I stopped was basically I went and had a cricket season in the UK, which we played over there in their summer, which was our winner. And then that sort of all, but I dislocated my shoulder over there on a skateboard, funnily enough. And
just being rad for the girls over there with your accent.
And then I come back and had a few games, and I tried a few things, strapping it by the shoulders, just was never good. So I sort of finished playing, I think, 2011. So Colts might have been 06, 07 maybe. Around that time.
06, I think.
But I said to Pugger the other day, through the juniors, what did you coached us? You on Garth?
Yeah, well,
and then I think
started under 10s with Nick Dan.
Yeah.
And then Greg Milton and I did it 1 year, and then I did it and brought the infamous Bomber Annan in.
Gary Hardy.
Bryce's dad. He was the manager.
Yeah, cool.
And we won. We were going for a 3-peat. We
knocked off Maitland in the first one.
So it was a Pumpkins year with Nick Armitage?
He was from...
Yeah, he's from Orange.
And then he had the Sydney, finished high school in Sydney, but he did the 2 years at Carlton, 1 year of Carlton. So the first year was with like Juby, Burdos, Rugby, which was a really, really good side. But again, the year before I did it, they won the grand final.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
they'd gone win-lose. We'd gone lose-win.
Yeah,
so a lot of them, there was a couple that didn't win the comp, but a lot of the guys over that 3 years, because you're playing those 2 years,
they had the taste.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. No, and you obviously you're coaching. You've done a bit of that. You've coached not just the Colts, but a bit of grade as well. Because you captain coach second grade as well, or assistant coach second grade.
Did the juniors.
Yeah.
So had them for 5 or 6 years till 16, till they started thinking of something else, and I said someone else can take yours now, and they probably needed a different voice by then. They great bunch of boys. They were all and great parents as well. It was unreal. We had a really good time, like friends for life. A lot of them. As I said, we were going for 3 wins on a row. I think Dennis Needer took his over after that, and then I played once till 2001 until Talafilippo tried to put my shoulder in the other side of my body out there. It was just over 100. It was. It was the week before I brought up my 100th against Wanderers actually at number, and it was pretty special. Like because I was coaching the boys at the time, they clapped me out and that. Cool. Like I've got a really nice photo at home of that, and that's pretty special to me. And then they're like, you want to celebrate, you get your milestone and whatnot. I said, no, I want to do it in the hallowed green room or whatever. Where it was all set. I didn't realise I'd be in a hospital bed at the Mater Hospital celebrating it by myself.
Pethidine.
No, exactly. So Yeah, that was not my last game of first grade. I had a couple of cameos after that. But I had 2002 off. Then I come back 2003, and Jimmy Tivius pulled me aside. He said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know." Anyway, as it turns out, I captained seconds, 2003.
That's when I got dropped to first grade.
Yeah.
Because it was a red hot side. It actually was a red hot side.
It was a really, really good side. You look back on it, Lesberg, who I christened the specimen. Topes, Pricey. Was in that side. As I said,
John Hall was there, and he went on to he was. Went on to play a fair few first grades.
He did. Trevor. It was there 03 and 04, and then my first year of coaching was 05. So the breakup of Jimmy Shorey and me as that had the honour of captaining that team. They went up to first, and then I went to third grade and captain coached thirds, and unfortunately lost another grand final. And then 06, I sort of couldn't foresee the future, but I coached again, and I asked Merv to captain, so that was pretty special. And I was a prick of a coach because we won the semi-final against Muswellbrook. They were a bigger team. And then in the final, University beat Muswellbrook, and the coach dropped me for the grand final, which I'll never forgive him for. But at the end of the grand final, when we beat Uni by probably nearly 40 points.
Yeah, it was a big game.
It was, and I'm sure that's the year you won that year as well with Colts over at Passmore.
Yeah, was it Passmore?
It was Passmore. Yeah, it was funny. Like there was green everywhere, and I think Wanderers might have played Waratah in the first grade grand final.
That's right. Yeah.
And there was like a quarter of the crowd. After it, there was a bigger crowd back here. I think after that, then
and that's happened a couple of times.
Most times, I think.
When we had made the first grand final. And I think
Exodus.
That says what the club is.
100%. 100%.
Obviously love their rugby, but love coming back here. And I'm sure you both have some good memories of the green room and whatnot. Let's share one of them. Let's share one of your best. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Green room. Well, it used
not
to,
this tartar mess.
not this.
There's been a lot of people we've had on have spoken about bikes going, jumping
mopeds.
bikes and mopeds up in the top.
Well, I suppose when we first started, we used to have an end-of-month keg.
Yeah.
And, it was the old sort of what happens in the green room. We used to stay in the green room. But, it was an end-of-month keg with gourmet boiled chat potatoes. With that tough, we just ate them straight. There's no butter or salt or anything like that. And then Monkey, who you mentioned before, he had this white moped. So, of course, we proceeded to build this obstacle course up there. It's a wonder we didn't die of carbon dioxide up there that night. We was revving that much.
Mixed with the asbestos.
Exactly. So, but look, heaps of memories. It's not so many that can't be discussed, but I don't,
Who was your best off-field performer back in that sort of time? As you came through from 18s through.
I tried to give it a nudge.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have got the mantle. I think everyone sort of had
a good crack.
They had a good crack, and probably tried to outdo each other. And, and that's how I suppose memorable moments happen.
Yeah.
And probably the most memorable, we might have been too inebriated to remember half of them, I suppose.
They're always the ones you want to know. The memories you make that you don't set out to are always the ones you never remember.
What's the story about? Didn't we go we sent a side down to Sevens in Sydney and we beat Randwick or something?
So that was the year of 96, which was a pretty special year. So we got a bus, we left here.
Did you play?
Yes, so 96, I was the hooker.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the line-out call. But, so we left here. We had, obviously, an A team and a B team that went down there. Steve Gall drove the bus, which we reminisced about the other weekend. We were sort of quite funny about, cracking up. We left here at 5 in the morning, drive to Bathurst, and we were playing that day. Anyway, as we went through, we kept sort of winning, and then they'd have a sprint, and we won the sprint.
Yeah.
So I think it was Matty Russell, Tobes, Jono, might have been Monkey. I'm sorry if I didn't get that right. So we won, I don't know, a couple $100 for the sprint. And then we got to the quarterfinals, and Jacko, I think the year before, played for Warringah.
Yeah.
Warringah,
Warringah,
yeah. And we were, we had the bus right at the opposite end of the field, of where everyone else was, and the Warringah guys were sort of next to us. Anyway, Jacko's gone over to talk to the boys before the quarterfinal. He's like, "Oh, yeah, geez, you guys are going all right, whatever." He said, "Oh, yeah, the boys are in there smoking." Let's just say probably Winfield Green, if you like, giving them a bit of a pep talk. So they're going, "Oh, we're going to go all right." Whatnot. We ended up beating them. And we obviously went to the semis to play Randwick and made them wear white jumpers.
That's
pretty special.
Which is awesome, like, obviously, because,
so... And
you're the home team.
That's right. And we ended up doing them in the grand final, and we were spent. We were cooked. Right?
In the semi-final,
we beat them in the semi-final, Randwick, and they tried to cheat.
Yeah, that's right.
The grubs. And then by the time we got to the grand final, we were spent. We were cooked. We got lapped by, I think it was East. But
Gordon. Was it East or Gordon?
No, it was Eastern Suburbs. It was a bloke of Willett, I think, that used to play with South Sydney.
Shane Werrett.
He played in it.
Really?
Yeah, he's a gun.
He played for South. Was it South and
South Sydney?
When one Jay Strawn, former captain of the club, did his teaching traineeship, or his teaching prac, he taught with Shane Werrett, and they had a sprint off.
Really?
Yeah.
I
think Shane Werrett won.
Did the Diamante slow?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I think the forward pack, and I'll tell you, like the line-out call, I was the hooker, never thrown a line out in my life. But there was, I think, myself, BK, Brad Kinder, Niggs.
Yeah.
And I think Longy might have been in the forward. So the line-out call was basically 27-45, it's going to you, Niggs.
Yeah.
And that was the line-out call. And Niggs is going, "What do you even bother getting it, mate?" As he did. And he generally got every ball that I could try and throw straight. But it was obviously our backs that they just brained them. They were free.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Was the story, the relay that you couldn't find the running race, you couldn't find Monkey at one stage?
I can't remember.
And he's come running out of the bus.
Or
He might have just stubbed that butt out.
Just
ran out and kept running.
Yeah.
Just kept running.
And actually won.
And that's why he was probably they went, "That bloke's running so fast, he's smoking."
Yeah. And you Kusik, obviously you've had some pretty good memories coming through with that Colt side. Who's your best off-field performer, and what's your best memory with the club,
Mate,
off the field? I mean,
off the field, the best performer, hands down, and I've had probably not as many nights recently, but during the 18s through to early grade would be Dean Burdos.
Yep, definitely
Really,
with you.
I've never encountered someone just to solely stick to 2-ish news.
Schooners. I know, it's amazing.
And 5 a.m. in the morning, that happened regularly enough, or at 5 p.m. first beer, it was 2-ish news.
Yeah.
He just didn't stray, and not that we were just solely beer, like or alcohol, but he'd never seen spew. He didn't really show like he was like Cameron, but he always kept himself in check. And if you were looking for a beer somewhere, you'd only have to text him or call him, and he'd be your first call.
One of the best.
And
he, one of those people, I was a little bit similar. Didn't have to have anyone call him. You'd turn up at the booth and here's Dean having a little beer by himself. And then you'd have a beer with him, and the next thing you know, you're at the Kent on a Tuesday night.
That's right. Those days are quite as regular.
I saw Dean yesterday actually at Bunnings.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, nice.
But the grand final, as much as the grand final loss, hurt. And as I said, even with Dean, like he was one of the unfortunate ones that didn't get it over the line, but he was probably the proudest one.
Yeah.
To see us win.
Yeah.
Like he
there would have been tears.
Yeah. Well, I knew what I'm saying there was, but a few of us got a hug at about 4 a.m. on the next day. The other good thing about that Colts was on a Friday, we all lived, within
Close by.
5 Ks, and you'd walk into the Prince on a Friday without even sending a message or a phone call, and you knew that the templates were going to be there. And that's more than a solo memory. That was just in sync with all of us. Again, like we had the Saturdays would roll into the Sundays from the Friday nights. I mean, the night that as much as you want to bring it up, and the 5-0 that we beat Wanderers, that was just
one of the best days.
Yeah, it was
100-0.
a corker. Like it was just.
I think that's probably my best memory playing for the Greens, beating them 100-0 in first grade. That was so good.
But the grand final stand out, and it's you don't really think about it, and you come on, the podcast here, and you start to really think about, what happened 10 years ago, and you just, it all just comes flooding back. So,
No, I often enjoy just thinking about coming on and the guests and stuff, and having a bit to do with you two guys, and not just that, but people probably don't know that you played first grade cricket, for Merriweather and Belmont. I remember when yourself come into grade, and your brother said, "Oh, watch Cussy. He's got more talent than I ever had." And I laughed because I didn't think you didn't have any talent, because he was saying he had talent.
That was footy for me was always to keep fit. Really, cricket was always
True thirds.
Cricket was always my priority, and I think that it sort of helped my footy because I just didn't take it as serious. And as much as I was a competitor and I wanted to play the highest grade, it got to a point sort of at the back end where it was a bit too serious, and I sort of didn't enjoy it because of how serious it had become. It used to be, you used to get to see your mates 4 times a week without having to send a message to them. You'd train and then you'd play and then roll into the beers, whereas cricket was the serious side and whatever, but during footy, and then when footy started like going into grade, and there was captain runs here, and there's video, and I was like, listen, I love my footy, don't get me wrong, but my time soaking exercises are probably done at the best time of the year in summer, whereas footy, I was just like, I just was happy just to train and do whatever. And not to say that I didn't have fun, like it wasn't enjoyable, but it just sort of got to a point where I was a bit like, it's
this is where it's at.
Yeah.
So you left Eddie Mack's Buck Show because you had to go play cricket the next day.
Yeah. I think we woke up next to each other, maybe.
You were in a tree. Most of the night. The night before that.
I got up the Friday, and then I looked after myself, and I left. Apparently, I left the worst of the 2 nights because apparently that Saturday turned out all right. But you make a lot of sacrifices whenever you play sport. It's all part and parcel of what you got to do. So that was just one of them to come back and play cricket. So.
It's funny listening to Marcus say that. I probably went the other way.
Yeah.
Like with rugby.
Rugby and cricket. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, cool. Oh, very good. Well, this is.
I want to know who you think who's the better out of the two.
Oh, definitely Marcus.
Right. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I got no argument.
So now, who's played the most grade games? Because I tried to look on the wall and I couldn't see it on the wall to compare how many grade games you both have.
Well, I didn't. I know that I've done 100 junior games.
Yeah.
But at the time, I didn't know whether they counted the Colts games.
Oh no, I think that's great. Yeah.
So I think I've done something like 30 something Colts, 15 fours, 15 threes, 20 twos, and 20 first grade games.
Yeah.
And they're all pretty consistent, but I reckon I'm sitting at 102 grade games.
And you'd probably have close to 300. Have you got your
close?
Yeah.
I think we're doing
easy.
I think we're doing new honour board.
They are doing a new honour board, which has been a point of conjecture. And like, in all honesty, it should have been up here when the green room was erected.
I agree.
And I know I'm having a bit of a dig at you because I know it means a lot to you because and I'm not having a dig, but I think it's something that should have been.
Take it that way.
I think it should have been done when the green. I mean, there's pictures and there's bells and shit.
Yeah.
But the main thing about a club is to honour the players that have played for the club, and I think that's the last part remaining probably.
Oh, big time. I mean, unfortunately, I was at Marcellin Clubhouse earlier on in the year, for our great mate Laney.
Which I was there as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yep.
that's right. And you look around there, and I just went, wow,
Yeah.
awesome. And once again, not to have a dig, but I remember when I first come to the green room, looked up there, I went,
Awesome.
I want to be on all three. My name on all three.
Yeah.
Lucky enough, hopefully when they put it up there, I'll be on 2 of them. And that was a childhood dream and that I aspired to. Like, as you said, bleeding green and whatnot, and we all are, we're passionate. It's the best rugby club in the world,
Well, I went the first time I went to the green room. I saw some graffiti in the toilets. I thought, I want my name to be there. So different aspirations, but still bleed green.
I've got a poster in the car.
for a good time.
Not even a mobile number back then.
It was a landline.
No, but you're right. I mean, and I think that would be the last thing to make this room really feel like home for not just yourself, but older players that sort of come here. I know everyone loves coming here, but yeah, I think certainly that maybe right there behind us.
Oh, look, yeah, and it's the pride that comes with it, and it's not everyone, you don't. It's the old cliches. You don't play for accolades or whatever, but I wanted to achieve those goals. And I suppose, like a lot of things in life, you don't get to do it. So.
Well, Pete Ryan, who I'd imagine be doing, he's just about to go 3 months in Mauritius again. So we might see that next season.
I've actually been over to there. They're working on it.
Oh, they are?
He's got the other guys. They usually work. Pete Ryan doesn't work anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, true.
He's never been there when I've called over to pick stuff up. So, I did want to ask, you guys, your cousins with Ben Hainsworth and the other boys, they all played, didn't they?
Yeah. The big cage, he come down here, Toddy.
Who's now out of all of you? Because I'm really good friends with Ben.
Yep.
Who's the best out of all? They all watched it.
I think Benny. Benny was a
he was a gun. Yeah, he
Was
was
he?
really good. He broke his arm.
he's
Telling Plugger. He broke his arm here.
Yeah, he's something up here.
I remember.
I'll get that $100 bet back off you.
I remember. I thought
He did do his knee, but that was surfing.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure.
I remember. I don't know why I can remember this part. We were up in their house, and he had a video footage of them actually doing the surgery or them drilling something out. But I always thought it was his knee. But from what I had got filtered back to me years ago, that Benny was. I mean, they're all decent footballers.
Marcus will be up there looking for that video.
Yeah, that's right.
But no, I think Benny, and whether they listen to it or not.
Was Benny the one you took on the culture night that time, and he got a bit stressed out?
That was Rich.
Oh, was that? Yeah.
Rich had a really good time.
You know
that night, apparently.
You know more about Rich and Toddy.
Bit of an eye opener. Look, they're big boys. They're big units.
Yeah.
And they both played lower grades. And as we said, Benny, whether he did his knee or his arm, Johnny played.
Johnny played
juniors too, but he sort of.
I sponsored him for surfing. Yeah, I sponsored Johnny for surfing back in the day. Yeah, with a clothing label.
Brad.
No, before I had a clothing label just out of high school.
Yeah, right.
And Johnny
Johnny
Hainsworth was sponsored. I remember him. I think it was, and I think Brett and Kat was trying. Tried, and I think Benny had a party up at Lloyd Street, and they were waiting for me. I never turned. They were waiting for me to give me
for cash.
No, just to try and get me to sponsor them. And I think I got too blind and never turned up.
Yeah, good.
Johnny'd still be chasing us.
Yeah.
I think he's still got a hat.
Well, very good. Well, this comes to, I guess, the last part of what we do here. We're going on an end-of-season trip, so Pugger and I are already coming. You both get to pick 3 people to come with you. Who are you picking?
Is this now?
Yeah.
Yeah, any era.
Any era.
And what we'll do is we'll make it so your cousins are coming as well. So all the hate,
Jesus. Really?
Yeah,
I haven't got enough.
because we'll make it's Todd's shout too.
Yeah, Todd shout. Yeah.
Toddy wouldn't shout at the shark, right? Fair dinkum.
Swear to God, me and Ben got a beer out of him the other day down here. He rocked up and he said, "Would you guys like a beer?"
He must have had 3 beer passes or something.
Yeah.
Mate,
I
were you missing
had
two tyres off your car when you
my black eye. It was closed over, could barely open. But when he said that, it was the only time it sprung open. Unbelievable.
And can we have the end of season trip at X-Ray?
Oh yeah, let's bring that back. Yeah.
We'll drop
One of the best joints. One of the best joints ever. I think it's out. I think it's out in the paddock somewhere. Anyway, I'm sure we can find
X-ray.
it.
Wow.
That was a good house. I mean, you obviously had the good house as well in Merriweather Street there for a bit.
Where
Was it Merriweather Street?
Dent Street, wasn't it?
Dent Street.
Just down here. Did you
live in that house?
the one?
No.
Here?
We didn't need to. You just lived here.
The door was always open, wasn't it? Anyway.
Where's that Camp X-ray?
Well, Camp X-Ray
yeah.
was on Llewellyn Street, opposite the shops.
I mean, I'd lived in a couple of dingy joints, but I steered clear of Camp X-ray.
Yeah.
Well, that was height.
Well, I lived across the road when I had the joint in Merriweather Street.
Yeah.
So I was there a fair bit. Hence why I'm divorced. One of the reasons.
Well, first I'll go. We'll do 1-1-1-1.
Yeah, I like
so
this.
my first one, I'd bring my. Well, let's not call him a sparring partner. He set the tone. Dean Burdos.
Nice.
He would be. He would be strapped on the front seat. I reckon.
I don't think you need to strap him.
Nah, he'd work his way down to the back at some stage, and he'd definitely be the last event. But Dean would be my first one to come.
I'll probably go Adrian Niggs Clark.
Beauty.
A very good friend of mine. Don't see him a great deal, but probably more, obviously for companionship, but probably to look after me.
Or hassle me.
Hassle you, but
He's
also
one of the only ones that have got the better of me on the
but
chat.
also look after me if I got into a bit of trouble, which no doubt I probably would. So I'd bring him. I mean, I remember one of his greatest feats against when we played Waratah was the old the Casbah. What did it turn into? Jackson King or something?
Jackson King.
Jackson King. We played the Casbah. We played Waratah one day. Towed him up as we always did, and obviously Jamie, the current first grade coach, was very impressed with my game, and I was impressed with his. But we sort of come together, both teams, later on that night, and obviously, Niggs wanted to take matters out onto King Street.
Yep.
And pulled out the old classic. They shaped up. He did the old classic in the hand. Old mate fell for it, and then he just come through with the other one. And then the ambo got called. The ambo got called, and we sort of went to another establishment after that.
Jolly Roger.
Just in case I needed those sort of talents,
beauty.
He would come.
Yeah, nice. Yourself next.
Number 2. Now it's a bit left field. Might surprise a few, but he's probably the guy that I played the most rugby with. So if I'm stuck for a conversation late in the piece, then it'd probably be Rip Stewart.
Nice.
Yeah, so Rip would probably get a start. If we're sticking to a footy theme and an end of season, then I've had probably just as many beers with Rip as what I've had with Dean. I think Rip was one of our first starters in the under 11s, and I played right through to Colts and into grade with Rip, and he probably had a couple more seasons at the end.
Yeah,
always played above his weight.
He did. He was awesome.
We boys used to throw it up in the line out. We had like Rick Van Winkle and all these sort of line outs called. He was a champion.
He's still about 70 kilo regular weight, but he would be there as my number 2.
Well, he was, it's probably tied for my first. I mean, of course, I've got to take the infamous Garth Bomber Annan for obvious reasons. I mean, obviously for those white sort of
frothing at the mouth,
when it sticks between the two lips. No, look, I love him to death. Also, probably to hear the banter between him and Niggs would be quite comical,
especially
as well.
At 4 in the morning. I've been places where it's been happening.
And look, as I said, love him to death. He was a really good coach. He was really good with the boys, with the backs. Yeah. But whenever we get together or whatever, there was one moment the boys remember. It was flogging down rain up at Gibbs Brothers. And, well, there was a couple of moments, good moments, that they remember. They've gone, what about the time, Garth, when it was flogging down rain? And he had like this, because of his bowl greenkeeper, fluorescent yellow tracksuit. So that's all they remember. And they said, and what about the other time when you two turned up after the ball the night before? So we actually turned up in our tuxedos in under 14s. We thought it was a bit of a joke till we seen the looks on the parents on the mother's faces and went, oh, maybe we shouldn't have done that. So yeah, Garth would definitely be coming along for sure. Yeah.
And then my last one would be, a former member, owner of X-Ray would be Nick Armitage.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I know he's up in Port Hedland now. I caught up with him last time he was down here. But yeah, if you were searching for a beer any day of the week, they were just in there.
Any day of the week, you'd go to the shops and then the old Fruito, and you'd get the fruit.
Yeah, you go down for 5 minutes, and you'd be home 3 days later, sort of thing. You'd catch up with him. He lived with Kenny, and I think Mitch Garner was in.
Mitch Garner was there for a bit. Fisher was there for a bit.
Fisher was there. So, man, that group, my 3, Dean, Rip, and Nick. So.
Yeah, nice.
Bringing home the wet sail, and he's half probably the former man that he is. I'll either see him tonight or he's down this weekend. Would be Adam Price.
Yeah, nice.
Pricey. He'd definitely be there and add to the value of the banter.
It's a good group of banter. I think it's actually probably my favourite group of 3 that's been picked this year.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks. I mean, I know you've spent quite a bit of time with those 3 gentlemen, and singing songs on buses about teddy bears and whatnot. Pricey. I mean, I met Pricey probably 94. He's a former Newcastle High 100 metre sprint champion, believe it or not. Still holds the record. Probably could have gone to the Commonwealth Games or whatever. He was a copper in King's Cross. I'm not sure if he was good friends with Nettie Smith or not, but it was around that era. I'm sure I seen him on that golden
house at Nelson Bay.
On that Golden Mile. But first time I met him, the legendary man, the Bear, who's his uncle, Gary Stafford, walked into the green room and went, Camo, this is me nephew, Pricey, look after him. And whether that was a good thing or a bad thing, but we fell in love. We had some funny times together, lived together in the Windsor Castle, just up from the Burwood. But he would be top notch. So that's a beauty. The Windsor Castle. I do remember when you guys lived there because I lived on Windsor Street as well for a bit, and I think Smooth moved from your place to my place because it wasn't too far to go. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks for that, guys.
That was smooth.
Good man. No, very good. No, thanks, guys. That was really good. Old Boys Day. You guys going to be here for a couple of years?
Yeah, for sure.
Should be a big crowd.
Yeah.
Premier 1.
Yeah, and at this stage, Premier 1 still is on. I believe.
Premier 1's are still on. Premier 2's make a call.
Yeah. So it may be.
By the time this goes out, they might have made a call. By the time this gets out.
Yeah, they may have made a call, but it does look pretty wet down there, and that Labrador chasing the car probably isn't doing it any favours.
But looks like clear skies.
Yeah, it is supposed to be a rain night, but who am I, not Tim Bailey? So
you're not. But
better looking and shorter.
Yes. Thanks to Steel City.
Well, as always, yep. Unfortunately, the law says I can't have one, but I would have loved one with you guys.
Yeah. Well, with Ollie Sempkin.
Yeah.
Played with Ollie's dad, Johnny.
Yeah,
Did you? Yeah. He was a legend, Johnny Sempkin. Yeah.
I remember when Gawley coached the second time and Gawley coached first, he'd bring the truck down and we'd have to bloody run around this. Yeah. Around the side.
Oh, he come up from Sydney and he was a real hard man. I remember we played a semi-final at number 2 when I was in my first year in second grade. And he ended up he was our captain. And I don't know what happened, but because he had the ball, and the mud guards, if you like, but had the old Stevie Cutler white tape around, had this golf ball, and because he was quite an inspirational captain, I just went, he's off for the game or whatever, and then 5 minutes later, come just back out breathing fire, and I'm going, holy hell, he was a tough, and once again we had some big nights at the Mary Ellen or whatever, and I remember, it took about 3 or 4 of us to drop him home. We put him on the porch, knock and run, and just get out of there, and Ollie was like in nappies or whatever. So, but no, he was a legend. Like, and just dirty tricks, like he'd tell you, go right, Camo. You know, when they're on the ruck, you get your thing like that, you press down on him to get up, and I'm like, righto, mate, or whatever. But so.
No, that's awesome. No, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
See you at Old Boys Day.
Up the greens.
Up the greens.
Up the greens.